Hello bookish friends, and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we are going to do my Q1 reading wrap up. Before we get further into the first quarterly wrap up of the year, I quickly want to thank today's video sponsor, and that is Pair Eyewear. If you haven't heard me talk about Pair Eyewear before, they are an online glass retailer. They are the glasses I'm wearing right now. They are not any glass retailer. They are probably one of the most unique glass retailers I've ever seen because I can easily change this style of glass simply by popping on a top frame, or even better, I can go from glasses to sunglasses. So Chris and I love to travel, so this is like the world's most convenient thing for me. This is the Murphy style, and I love that I can have these on, and these also have blue light filtering. They don't have a prescription, but your girl needs blue light, so I love that I can be wearing these at all times, and then the second we go outside or we're anywhere sunny, I can just pop on my sun tops and I have a pair of sunglasses. And I didn't have to pack 2 pairs, I had to pack 1 pair. So I love that I can fit up to like 5, 6, maybe even 7 pairs of glasses in this one little convenient case. That's all they need when I go traveling. Pair Eyewear is also really affordable in my opinion. You buy your base frame, which we'll talk about in a little while, and I'll show you how to go through the process of buying, but you basically buy your base frame in whatever style you so please. I have the Murphy in the tortoise color, and then you buy top frames to switch out your style. I love it that I can change my style on a daily basis without having to actually buy an entire pair of glasses, and I can just interchange the top frames. So other things quickly that I love about Pair Eyewear is their Pair for a Pair program, which whenever you buy a base frame, they donate a base frame to somebody in need. I already talked about the affordability, the versatility, and just the overall benefit of this type of glass. I don't think I've ever seen another glass company like this that has affordable prices like Pair Eyewear. So if you want to get a pair for yourself, you will just go to paireyewear.com. You can browse their homepage, see what new collections they have going on. You can shop by women's, men's, or kids. Once you go into shop women's, men's, or kids, you will then select your base frame. Like I said, I have the Kirby and the Murphy. From there, you can decide whatever types of add-ons you want. If you want a progressive lens, if you want a double lens. I don't do any prescription in mine because I don't need that, even though I probably should do that soon. I only add on blue light filtering because your girl needs that. And then from there, you can scroll through the top frames and choose as many as you like. And that is it. It is that easy to get yourself a pair of versatile, stylish, cute glasses. Like I said, you can get progressive lenses put onto them. You can get a prescription put onto them, but I only have the blue light because that's all I need right now. I probably should get a prescription, but I'm just not there yet. So if you want to check out Pair Eyewear and get yourself your own frame, you can go to Pair Eyewear using the link in my description box, or you can use the code LEXI'sReading15 for 15% off your first order. And yes, thank you to Pair Eyewear for sponsoring this video and continuing to support my channel. Now that that's done, let's get right back into the Q1 wrap up. I legit cannot believe that we're already in April. We're halfway into April while I'm filming this. I'm sorry. It was the end of March, beginning of April was pretty much rough for me all around. Wasn't doing great. Couldn't sit down and actually physically film a video. Mentally couldn't do it. So here we are. It's April 9th. I'm hoping to have this video up in the middle of April, so like April 15th, hopefully next Monday, which hopefully you're seeing this on April 15th. I figured better late than never. Quarterly wrap-ups are something I want to do on my channel just for my own benefit, I guess. I mean, maybe your guys' too, I don't know. But we're gonna keep these videos brief because I personally don't like watching sit-down videos anymore, so I don't want to bore you for 30 minutes just sitting here talking, looking at the same frame. So we're gonna do this quickly, and I have my reading journal here so I can easily wrap up my thoughts with some sort of guide rather than just sitting here rambling. So I first quickly want to talk about my progress on my reading goals, and if you haven't seen my video of me setting up my 2024 reading vlog, I will link it in the description so you can go watch that, so you can watch the whole process of me setting this up, because I'm not going to show you it in this video. My first goal was to read 100 books. I'm getting there. I'm pretty sure I'm at like 33 at this point when we're halfway into April, so doing great on that, honestly. The other one was I want to read all of Sarah J Maas's books. I'm getting there too. I have read the entire ACOTAR series up until this point. I have Crescent City 1, 2, and 3, which I have not read yet. But Crescent City 1 is on my 24 and 2024, and so is Throne of Glass, and I actually got Throne of Glass in my April TBR jar pick, so April might be the month that we start Throne of Glass. So we're getting there on that one. I'm still working my way through Harry Potter. That's another reading goal of mine. I finished book 3, which is Prisoner of Azkaban, so now I'm moving on to book 4. Another one was complete the Book of the Month challenge, working through that. I put complete the Barnes & Noble reading challenge, not doing that this year. I am doing my 24 in 2024, so I guess I should update this goal. The next one was read 50% of my physical TBR. We're getting there. I will talk about my project TBR in just a little bit. The next one was be consistent on BookTube and grow / be consistent on Bookstagram. So we'll talk about those because we're getting there. So let's start going month by month of the books that I have read. I'm gonna scooch over here because, as you know, every time I do a reading wrap up, I put my books into 3 different piles, which are like books that I absolutely must keep and they're like my favorites of all time. I don't want people borrowing them. I have a second pile that's like books that I liked but don't feel the need to like keep here in my physical reading room, so those can go out in the bookshelf in our front room. And then I usually have a pile of books that I just like did not like at all and could just be donated. Instead of stressing myself out trying to find every book that I read so far this year and recreate the stacks that I have pictures of, I was like, I'm just gonna insert the pictures that I have. Let's just start with January. So in January I read 10 books. 5 of those, I'm reading off my reading journal. 5 of those were physical books that I read. 5 of them were audiobooks. I didn't have any ebooks that month. I didn't have any 5 stars, even though my favorite book from January was probably a 5-star looking back on it now. And I did not DNF any books. So also in the month of January, I had 0 1-star. I had 1 2-star, 4 3 stars, 5 4 stars, and no 5-star books. Quickly, let's just talk about my favorite book from the month of January, which was the Thursday Murder Club. This is the one that I was saying, this is probably, looking back at it, a 5-star book now, because I still think about this book all the time and I can't wait to get further into this series. This is about a group of old folks that live in like a retirement village, and every Thursday they meet and solve cold cases that have gone cold, obviously. Oh my god. Can you tell it's been a while since I've like sat down and filmed a video and talked to a camera? This friend group is just hilarious. They're all like ex-nurses, ex-veterans, ex-police, ex-detectives, so they use those skills that they had back in the day and try to solve cold cases. And in this one they are solving like kind of like an active murder, I guess, but this is just so great. It's so funny. It's so funny to me because I tried to listen to this on audio and wasn't vibing with it. And I told myself, I was like, look, I think I know if I read this physically, I would absolutely love it. And that's exactly what happened. And now I have book 2 on my April TBR and I just want to read through the series so quickly. But I'm trying to take my time and thoroughly enjoy this. So this is my favorite book from the month of January. All right, while we're at it, we'll just go to February. So this is my February reading wrap up, and in the month of February I read 11 books, 6 of those being physical, 5 were audio. I had 0 ebooks. It's saying I had 5 5-stars. Is that accurate? That's a lot. Oh my god, that is. Okay, great for me. Can you tell I haven't looked at my reading journal in a while? So I had 5 5-stars in the month of February, but I also had 2 DNFs. I'm trying to think of what I DNF'd in February. Let's see. Oh, I DNF'd River Sing Me Home and The Bookish Life of Nina Hill. Okay, that makes sense. So my favorite book from the month of February was Craving by Helen Hardt. If you didn't watch any of my videos in the month of February, you wouldn't know that this series like completely took over my life, because I also have 2 other 5-stars in this series, which are books 2 and 3. So basically this whole series, these are out of order, is the Steel Brothers series by Helen Hardt. I thought it was gonna be a really sweet cowboy romance because it says right here, it said something about like her friend's ranch on Colorado Western Slope, and I just heard that and I was like, oh great, a cowboy romance, I'm in that era. And then I started reading it and I was like, holy shit, this is really deep and dark and really freaking spicy. And then I realized that they're dark romances. But I read books 1 through 4 in the month of February. As you could tell from my reading wrap-up picture, that this series just completely took over my life. And all 3 of these were 5-star books, which is crazy. And then book 4, I think I gave like 4 stars. And I have books 5 and 6 on my shelves. Book 5, I'm actually reading in the month of April. That might be the next book I pick up from this point right now. But absolutely loved this series. Literally cannot get enough of this series, and I cannot wait to keep going with it. But just know going into it that this is extremely dark, extremely like, not violent, but like sexually violent. Like this is like 50 Shades on crack. So just know that going into this. But Craving, book 1, was my favorite book from the month of February. The next month obviously was March, and in the month of March I read 11 books. 6 were physical books, 3 were audio. I read 2 ebooks, No 5 stars and 3 DNFs. So the complete flop from February. My favorite book from the month of March was The Clinic by Cate Quinn, which is kind of crazy because I didn't give it 5 stars. I gave this a 4.5 star. It was a little bit longer than it needed to be, but this was so good to me. I know a lot of people are saying that they didn't like this, but I really enjoyed this and I still think about this book to this day. And I just love this cover. I don't know what it is about this cover. I just love it. This is a psychological thriller about a girl who basically goes undercover in a luxurious rehab facility that her sister apparently offed herself in, and she just doesn't believe that that's a situation. Not only does she go undercover, but she also has problems with like popping pain pills and drinking because she works in a casino setting, and she went through a really tragic incident back in the day and got hurt from it. Not only is she trying to like figure out what the hell is going on with my brain, like am I going crazy or what, she's also trying to solve her sister's deceasedness. I don't even think that's a word, but that's how we're gonna describe it. I really enjoyed this. I like that there was quick chapters. This author actually wrote from her own experience dealing with like drug abuse and alcohol abuse, so you got a real feel for what rehab is probably like, and it's not somewhere I would ever want to go in my life or wish on anybody I dislike. I really enjoyed this. I love this cover and I love this book. So now that we've talked about month by month, let's talk about like my yearly tracking. So we talked about the monthly ratings. I talked about all of my 5 stars, which was, actually I don't think I did talk about all my 5 stars. Craving by Helen Hardt. Oh yeah, I did. The Steele Brothers series, books 1 through 3. I guess I well, no, I'll stick with the 4.5 rating because it wasn't like absolutely perfect. And then the only other 2 5 stars I had so far in the first quarter of the year was Matthew Perry's memoir. This is Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. If you're a Friends fan and you love Matthew Perry, which if you're a Friends fan and you don't love Matthew Perry, you're not a Friends fan. Come at me for that. I will defend that till the day I die. I obviously love Friends. It's like one of my biggest personality traits. And obviously when Matthew Perry passed away, I was like genuinely upset, and I was like crying for a couple days after. And I just remember sitting in bed like just thinking about it, and I started crying, and Chris was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, I just can't believe Matthew Perry is gone. And he's like, I was like, I just feel so stupid for feeling so sad about it. And he's like, Lexi, don't feel weird about it. Like, he's a big part of your life. You watch him every night. When you can't sleep, the first thing you do is you put on Friends, and guess what? You're knocked within 5 minutes. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, Friends is such a comfort show to me. And now I understand why people were so upset when like Michael Jackson died, because when you grow up and you spend a lot of your time listening to a certain artist or watching somebody on TV, they become like your friend. And with Friends, they literally become your friends. And I was really upset when he passed away, and I put a hold on the audiobook and literally loved it so much that I had to have a physical copy, because this is one of the best memoirs I've ever read. The only other one I've really listened to is Jeanette McCurdy's, but I know Jeanette McCurdy, but like I know Matthew Perry. So reading this was just so insightful, and it was just so crazy and so good, and it was an immediate 5 star. So I'm not going to talk much more about this because I probably will cry if I keep talking about it, but this was an instant 5 star, so freaking good. And then the last 5 star book I have is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I have not given a 5 star to any of the Harry Potter books, but Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie, and this was definitely my favorite book, I think. I don't know, I love Harry Potter. It's such like a comfort show at this point, and a comfort movie. Like when I'm feeling sick, or it's like a nice cozy rainy day, or specifically in the fall and winter, Harry Potter's such a go-to. I just like this because I like Sirius Black, and I like the actor who plays Sirius Black because he's also in The Dark Knight Rises, which is my favorite movie ever. Absolutely love this. Gave this an instant 5 stars. And those are pretty much all the 5 stars I have so far this year. I have 5 of them, which is kind of not a lot, but it is what it is. Let's talk about books I DNF'd. I'm just gonna go through these quickly because we don't need to sit here for that long. The first one is River Sing Me Home. I just don't think this was the book for me. I tried to listen to the audiobook. I got like 10% in, and I was like, I don't think this one's for me. So that was the first one. Then we have The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, which I listened to 73% of this, and I was like, I don't care how this ends. It was a contemporary fiction, and it was really cute. I just like could care less. That's really all it came down to, was I just did not care, and I didn't want to continue to spend time on this audiobook if I wasn't gonna love it. So DNF that. Next one is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I read about 63 pages of this and just realized, again, it wasn't for me. I didn't realize this gives Bridgerton vibes, and I'm not a Bridgerton girly. I'm not like a Victorian era London, England vibes girl. I was reading it and I was like, if I keep reading this and wasting my time, I'm gonna be really pissed. So I just decided to DNF that. The next one is The Diamond Eye by Cate Quinn. This is a historical fiction. Again, just not for me. Wasn't the right time. Could could not find myself caring about it, and listening to it via audio, I listened to 20% of it, I just like could not follow the timeline because it goes back and forth a lot, and then it has like news clippings and book clippings, and I just, for an audiobook, I could not follow it, so DNF that at 20%. The last one is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. I DNF this at 50%, reading the ebook on my Kindle, and I went into this thinking it was like a really spicy rom-com, and it was spicy at times, but not enough for my preference. Like, I like spice constantly, and like in pretty much every chapter, like a little dash of it. It doesn't have to be full sex scene. I just need a little something in each thing. And I was 50% through this, and I was like, if I keep reading, I'm gonna die of boredom. There was just like too much going on and not enough spice. So let's talk about book of the month. I have been doing a really good job at reading my book of the month books. Not as they come in, but like getting some of them off my shelf, because that is one of my goals for this year, is to read more of my book of the month books, because I do order every month, and you can get your first book for only $5 using the link in my description box. You'll get your first book for $5 and I get a credit. They're not paying me, they're not sponsoring me unless they want to, but just thought I'd throw that out there. And I really wanted to complete the book of the month challenge this year, so I only chose 3 of the badges because some of them just didn't pertain to me. One was the book boss, you have to rate 15 books, the genre genie, you have to rate books from 6 different genres, and then I wanted to do the page pusher, which is reading books that are 400 plus pages. So I have read 3, 4, 5 book of the month books. I have 3 different genres and then 1 page pusher, so we're getting there slowly but surely. Next is my project TBR, and my goal is to read 50% of my physical TBR this year. So I started the year with 269 books on my physical TBR, which are books that I own but I just have not read. I'm really trying to be strategic about buying books this year, minus my book of the month. Like, the book of the month is just, that's gonna be a constant thing throughout the whole year. I really want to get my TBR down drastically this year, and we're trying. So in January, I started the month with 269 books. I read 10 books that I already physically owned and that were on my TBR. I bought 12 books that month, so I ended the month with 271 books on my physical TBR, which not great, but the buying and the reading kind of negated each other. So that means I started February with 271, and February was not a good month for my project TBR because it was my birthday month. I got sent a lot of books. I bought myself a lot of books. Don't judge for this one. So in February, I read 8 books that were physically on my TBR. I bought myself 21 books and I received 19 books from you guys. So I ended the month with 303 books on my physical TBR, which I know is so much, but like, it was my birthday month, so whatever. Meaning I started April with 303 books on my physical TBR. I did buy myself 11 books because I did get my bonus from work in the month of March, so I treated myself a little bit. I received 4 books between like publisher mail, ARCs, all that. I read 9 books that were physically on my TBR already, but I did unhaul 31 books in the month of March because I redid my bookshelves and I reorganized them. So I did get rid of 31 books, and I ended the month with 278 books on my physical TBR. So we're realistically only like 9 books ahead of where we started, and I'm hoping that as the year goes, we can cut that down even more. I'm not gonna go over the form. So this year so far, I have listened to 13 audiobooks, which is great. The books that I've read have most been between fantasy, mystery, thrillers, and romance. I have a couple contemporary fictions, which no surprise there. My series tracker. I have read all of the ACOTAR books, which I'm very excited about. I have read editions 1 through 5 of Killing Stalking by Coogie, which is a graphic novel series, so I'm caught up on that. I've read 3 books in the Harry Potter series, Throne of Glass and Crescent City. None yet, but I'm hoping to read Throne of Glass in the month of April. I have Divine Rivals on here, and I don't know. I have no desire to read it. I don't know why, but we're gonna keep it on there. Thursday Murder Club, I read book 1. I'm hoping to read book 2 in April. Fourth Wing, I have read Iron Flame this year. Did not like it. Moving on. Shady Hollow, I haven't read any from. Steel Brothers series, I've read books 1 through 4, and then Magnolia Parks, which I'm going to talk about in a second, I have read book 1. As far as Bookstagram and BookTube, I have been busting my booty growing these platforms. When I originally made this spread, I'll just show you, I had gone up by 5s on BookTube. I started at 562 and I thought I would maybe get to 700, and I'm almost at like 1,500, which is insane to me. So I have far surpassed my goal for 2024, which is fantastic because there's really no pressure on me now to be like, I didn't reach my goal of subscribers, which I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to be consistent, which I'm doing great at, except for the last couple weeks, but don't judge. And as far as Bookstagram goes, I think I'm about to reach 1,500. So I also have far surpassed my Bookstagram growth. So very excited about that. I've not done great with the library in terms of my 24 and 2024. So this is my little TBR of 24 books that I already own that I wanted to read in 2024. And honestly, we're doing pretty good on this. Oh, I gotta fill these in, shit. Out of the 24 books that I chose for this TBR, I have read 5, which is it's not terrible. Also not great. Yeah, that is pretty much that. The last thing I want to talk about is one honorable mention that I have to talk about because I loved it so much, and that is Magnolia Parks. I gave this a 4.5, I think, or 4-star. Okay, yep, I gave it a 4.5 simply because it is just a very repetitive book, because most of these chapters are following BJ and Magnolia's inner dialogue, and they just continue to think the same things over and over again about each other, and I feel like reaching through the freaking pages and being like, shut the fuck up, get over yourself, and just tell the other how you feel, and maybe you'll be together and it'll work out. So that is the only reason I didn't give it 5 stars, but this book is so freaking good. I totally get the hype of this series and this world and this universe. I just love this. I love the fashion references, the high society life, the going out, constantly drinking and all that. I mean, I don't love that, but I love reading about it. And this is just rich people drama, which I love. So had to mention Magnolia Parks. That is my first quarter of reading wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to talk about anything else in these videos, please let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching. Thank you again to Pair Eyewear for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, give this video a like, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.